Hey everybody, today we are at Parque Warner, Madrid in Spain. We just got here and it was a little bit complicated, or at least more complicated than I remembered it being. I have been here, but it's been, I would say, probably like 18 years since the last time I was here. And apparently some things have changed since then, or I remembered it wrong. Anyways, this is a large theme park with Warner Brothers characters like Wonder Woman, Superman, Batman, outside of Madrid, Spain, and let's just go inside. I'm gonna show you around, and it's basically like the first time for me. And we are now inside the park. We bought tickets at the gate for 46.90 euros, but if you buy them online in advance, you can save a lot of money. And look at this. Oh wow! Look at the end of this street. It's the Great Movie Ride. Like I said, it's been so long since I've been here that this is basically like the first time. I really don't remember a whole lot about it. And I have totally forgotten. Either I forgot that this was here or it wasn't here when I was here before. But this is a copy of the Grauman's Chinese Theater in Los Angeles and in Florida at Disney Hollywood Studios. It used to be the home of the Great Movie Ride, and now it's being turned into something else completely different. Because it took us much longer to get here than we were planning, first thing we're going to do is eat, because it's now like 2 o'clock in the afternoon and we've only had breakfast, and I'm seeing now that I'm in here how shiny I am from all the sun cream, even though it's not really sunny out today. And in fact, we picked today to come, we weren't planning to come here today, and then we changed our plans because today it's supposed to be cloudy. And yesterday it was like 92 degrees all day, even until like 10 o'clock at night. And that's just like rough weather to be walking around in a theme park all day. So when we saw that today was going to be a little bit milder, we were like, okay, let's go today. And now we're in this pizza restaurant, and you order from a machine and then go pick up your food. And it's not going very quickly. This is what the pizza looks like. Some ham here, or as Americans would call it, Canadian bacon. I got the pizza with 4 cheese, and then ran over to Starbucks to get an iced tea and a coffee. And the pizza and a cola was not even 15 euros, so the price is fine. And this is the view. Be definitely falling down that tower later. Now I've got food in my stomach, and we can go and ride some rides, because if you have an empty stomach, I think you're more apt... Oh, sorry. I just drooled. I think you're more apt to feel sick if you go on rides with an empty stomach. Yeah, it's interesting. It's so much less hot and muggy than it was yesterday. Oh, well, wait a second. Muggy is not the right word. It's like a desert here. There's no humidity. It's like Las Vegas. And there's so many flies. Facebook, Instagram, ooh, fly. One thing I have to tell you is, after being in the park now for like maybe 35, 40 minutes, like the first impression of the theming and like the being immersed in a foreign world is already so much better than the Disney Movie Studios park in Paris. I mean, seriously, is there any area of Disney Studios Paris that looks this amazing? Is there? I would say no. If you disagree, write it in the comments below. We can discuss it. I mean, this is almost Universal Studios level of theming here in a theme park outside of Madrid that a lot of people don't know about. And I just think that's great. I love this kind of stuff. I feel like they didn't get it right at that park in Paris. And there, straight in front of us, is the Superman ride. Oh, here's Casa del Sol. Do they have burritos there? No. Steak and fish, it looks like. This area also reminds me a lot of the, when you first walk into Disney Hollywood Studios in Florida, on the right side, there's a setup kind of like this, and back there is where you buy or you rent your strollers. And look, they have like an old-fashioned haunted house. I love it. I love it. Okay, so this theming in the queue for Superman is maybe not the highest quality, but some of the others. First roller coaster of the day, Superman, and it's a big coaster. Big coaster. With big drops, big hills, and some really big inversions, really big loops. If you've been to Busch Gardens in Florida or SeaWorld in Florida, it's a lot like Kumba or Kraken, but just bigger. And unfortunately, it's all hidden. So unless you ride the ride, you can't see like what it does, which I think is kind of fascinating, actually. Now we're walking through this area of the park, and it reminds me a little bit of the superhero area in Universal Studios as well. The theming here in the queue to this Batman reminds me a lot of the theming in the very first year of Batman at Six Flags in Chicago, which was the first this kind of roller coaster, the first inverted looping coaster. That was intense. If you've been to basically any of the Six Flags parks in the United States, then you know that ride. You know that roller coaster. It's been cloned several times around the world. There was actually one, or there is one in Japan too, I think. I don't know. I'm kind of out of date with my roller coaster trivia. But it's not a very tall or very fast ride. It's very compact, and the loops and the turns are so tight. The G-forces are really, really intense. I was saying I think it should be like some kind of mandatory astronaut training thing to ride Batman, because it's just so like... And I really like the theming of this area. One thing to sort of clear up. The theming all around the park here, I think, is at a very high quality, and it's very interesting, and it makes you feel like, you know, you're taking a trip into some fantasy world or something. And I feel like, I don't know why I keep comparing this to Disney Studios Paris. The thing that's different here, though, is that, like, here there's like big rides and roller coasters, and the theming doesn't necessarily connect or tell a story together with the ride. And that's something that Disney, of course, does very well, and Universal does very well. You know, it's a give and take. So we've left Gotham, and now all of a sudden we're in the Old West. And there's something that I do remember very, very distinctly from my first visit here, and that is they do have a roller coaster here in the Old West area. Unfortunately, it's not Big Thunder Mountain. It's called Coaster Express, and I remember it being really, really terrible. What I mean is that, you know, I think wooden roller coasters should feel out of control. They should feel kind of like bumpy and shaky, but this was like unenjoyable. And I'm really looking forward to riding it again to see if it's as bad as I have it in my memory. One thing about it, though, is it's a very different looking coaster, and it's actually really pretty in a way. It looks very majestic. Have you ever been on a ride that's so bad that like it makes you upset? That's how I feel right now. That roller coaster needs to be torn down. It's so painful. It's so awful. Like, and it's not like funny. Oh, this is shaky. It's like I was worried for my back and for my neck. It's so awful, you guys. There's a list that goes out every year that like roller coaster experts from all around the world can choose the best to the worst roller coasters, and there's this whole like point and grading system, and this coaster always is like way down at the bottom, like in the bottom 20, I think. In fact, I'll have to look at the list. I want to look at the list again to inform myself, but it's just really, it's not even funny bad. It's just painfully horrible bad. So because that hunk of junk back there was just as awful as I remember it, now we're going to do something that I remember being really cool, and that is this Rio Bravo boat ride. Sort of like their version of Splash Mountain. And this is one of the rides here in the park that actually, where you do actually ride through a story. I don't remember what the story is. It has something to do with Bugs Bunny and his friends. But I remember being more impressed with this than I was expecting. Yeah. Just a little bit of a light water spray on that ride. But it was really, really fun. And there are just some surprises on it. There's a backwards part with a very steep drop, and then an airtime hill where you literally like fly out of your seat. Like, I'm serious, I was like, woo, 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 woo. And the theming is actually very similar to Big Thunder Mountain, and there were no Looney Tunes characters. I think there might have used to be Looney Tunes characters actually, but there are not anymore. But you can see here from the merchandise at the park that they do have Looney Tunes characters here. So like Six Flags in the United States. Now, I wish it was sunny and 88 degrees or 92 degrees again, because that would be more comfortable now. It's only like in the 70s. Marcus is already picking out a dry t-shirt, which I might do as well. Should we do some shopping? This Roadrunner shirt, which is a pretty, I would say it's a medium thickness quality, is, oh, I can't find a price on it. Is there a price? There is no price, but what about this one? This one is, oh, $19.95. That's a good price for t-shirts here. This Parque Warner polo shirt is $24.95, so yeah. I mean, these prices are much better than the Disney parks in Florida. What else do we have here? How about a basic Parque Warner t-shirt in gray for the low, low price of $19.95. That's not bad at all, actually. Got some interesting sippy cups up here for $6.95. Yeah, these are good merchandise prices. What about these coffee cups over here with Sylvester the cat? Nobody talks about Sylvester anymore. $13.95. I think my camera's having problems focusing because it got wet. If I do buy a shirt, I'll let you know which one. Oh, this is actually kind of nice. This is something I might actually wear just every day. It's also only $19.95. Y'all come back. I would love to, but not to ride that wooden roller coaster. Look at Bugs up there doing his pirouettes, spraying everybody wet. We got Porky the pig rowing a boat, Daffy Duck All our favorite Looney Tunes characters. And down here, Mark Anthony. I don't remember him, but there he is. The rhythm that Bugs spins up there changes. So there's kids down here trying to like figure out the right time to run in and out without getting wet. But Bugs keeps getting faster and slower to make it more difficult. That wascally wabbit. Scooby-Doo is also part of Warner Brothers, I guess. I didn't remember that. On the park map, somewhere back here, it looks like there is another water ride, and we're going to try to find that before we get dry or maybe buy a t-shirt. Oh, here it is, back here, the Acme Waterworks.
Hello.
Oh, it's a round, rafty boat ride. It reminds me a little bit of Popeye's Bilge Rat barges at Islands of Adventure as well. But I hope you don't get as wet on it, because I really don't want to get that wet right now. I don't know, they don't look too wet. They've got dry hair. We have found the entrance. Hopefully we'll be accepted. I like that. I'll have to make a picture of it later. We're entering the Acme factory. I'm not sure what that has to do with a boat ride, but our tour starts here. Oh. And there's several other people who want to ride this ride as well. It was fun though, and this is the ride now that had all the Looney Tunes characters in it. And it was, yeah, very fast, a lot of bumps and stuff, no big drops. And there's just constantly water spraying from the side into the boat. Like jets that are like going like this, or jets that are like spraying like this. Really, no one's safe. So I think we're definitely done with the water rides for today. And now we're gonna go back to the superhero area and maybe look for some dry clothes. You can go see Tweety Bird here. This is Tweety Bird's house. Apparently Tweety Bird is called Piolín in Spanish. And now we're back at the spinning fountain. If you want to liven up any area of a theme park, put in a water effect like this. This is just so much fun. Now we're going to check out the Adventures of Scooby-Doo. And that is what this haunted house looking thing is here. But I guess that does fit to the Scooby-Doo theme because they're always looking for some spooky ghost, right? And there doesn't appear to be much of a line, which is nothing I'm complaining about. Let's go into the spooky house, shall we? It's kind of dark, but you can see these are the heroes of Scooby-Doo. That's Daphne and Fred, and of course Scooby. And then we've got Velma and Shaggy. And this is a very slow-moving line. It might be the longest wait we've had all day, actually. It's a trackless dark ride. I didn't know they had this. Whew, it's bright out here. Well, that was cute. I don't know. I guess if I had known we were going to be waiting that long for it, I probably would have skipped it or done it later. It's a dark ride with trackless vehicles where you're riding through scenes from Scooby-Doo, and you have to shoot at targets in order to help them, I guess. And you know, one of the things I noticed when I was just in this ride about this kind of shooting dark ride is that it gets to the point where you're only looking for these little light up targets, and then you don't even like pay attention to the scenery and everything that's happening, you know, around you. You know what I mean? You're just looking for like these little lights, and that's kind of too bad. I wonder if there's a way to sort of change it. I don't know. We're leaving the Cartoon Village now. You can see some character greeting happening behind me, and we're gonna go see one of their original musicals here, which is called The Magic of Oz. And I wonder, oh, gelato. And they do have it. Inside joke if you're new here. Yeah, we're gonna go watch this musical, The Magic of Oz, and then it's probably dinner time, or at least time for an adult drink. Quite a few people have come here to see The Magic of Oz. That show was not bad. It wasn't Disney or Universal quality, but I would say it was higher than maybe Six Flags or Cedar Fair quality. Somebody just fell down back there. It was a mix of, well, it told the story of The Wizard of Oz, and it was a mix of songs from Wicked, The Wizard of Oz, The Wiz, and then some other songs that I couldn't identify. And one thing that I thought was really interesting was that after the show started, I didn't see anybody taking pictures or making videos or on their cell phones at all. And so Spanish audiences are very well behaved. And now we're about to go on a beast of a roller coaster called Stunt Fall. It is a mega boomerang coaster with vertical reverse points. I'm kind of scared because it goes backwards. Ew. It was not as uncomfortable, like headbangy as I remember it, but it's really, really intense. You've got like two free falls, one going forward, one going backwards, and then these gigantic inversions in the middle of it. And when you're going up the first reverse point, you go up backwards and you fall down forwards, and you're just hanging in the restraints. And that's something that I don't like on any ride. I don't like to like hang in the restraints like upside down, or I'm trying to think, you know, there's some other rides that have like really slow heartline rolls where you just hang in the restraints, and I don't know, I don't find that thrilling. This roller coaster is called Tom and Jerry, and it has a train that's like 400 cars long, and it's very loud. That is a perfect roller coaster for maybe kids who have only ridden like a little kiddie coaster and who want to see what a bigger coaster is like. It's a long ride, and it has some fun, little theming elements, like you go over a grill and through a picnic basket and stuff like that. Yeah, and I just know that as a young kid, I would have felt so cool after I was finally brave enough to ride that ride. Because it looks big. It looks big and long, but it's not like extremely thrilling. Our next and perhaps final roller coaster of the evening is going to be Correcaminos, beep beep, which I think is themed like the Roadrunner. Excuse me, but what is that? And In order to enjoy waiting in line a little bit more, I got me some ice cream. Not in a cone! That was a lot of fun. That is the kind of coaster that I really love because it was quite thrilling. There's some big drops and some surprising transitions, but it wasn't so crazy or rough that like when it's over you're like, whoo, 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 I need a break. And it's a perfect coaster to be like the next step between the really big rides and that Tom and Jerry coaster with the really long train and the blue track. So this park has a really good mix of rides for the whole family, and I have to say, we're gonna try to get the bus now, but we've had a really great day here. I'm glad you had the chance to hang out with me here today. And if you haven't done it yet, you can consider subscribing to my channel to see more about our trip here to Madrid and our visits to other theme parks, tourist attractions, hotels, resorts, and cruise ships around the world.